Wanted to talk to you guys today about being high conflict because I think a lot of people assume that maybe they're not high conflict when in reality they are. I think sometimes when we're online and we see people talking about high conflict, it's presumed that maybe you're being over the top, you're being dramatic, and it's not really a real thing. And I want to make sure today, as we go through this, that you kind of are honest with your situation and you admit to yourself that you are high conflict. Okay. So we want to make sure that we are fully understanding what that is. But as we get started, I want to know, where are you guys watching from? I want to know, where are you at in your divorce process? Like, are you just now starting? Are you killing it and it's going really well and your attorney is working for you, not against you? Like, what is really going on inside of your case? Okay, so let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. I'm always dying to see how cases are going, especially with the start of the year. Like, are you really killing it on staying on top of things? Do you really feel like you're going to get accomplished and be divorced in 2025? Because I'm assuming a lot of you started this process maybe a couple years ago and we're still behind and not getting things done. All right. So let's dive into this. What exactly is high conflict? And this can be, hi, Leah Marie, this can be a multitude of things. This is where I want you to understand it's not like, it's kind of like being on the spectrum. It's not one size fits all. This is a matter of you could be high conflict right now, you could get high conflict later. And I think that's one thing that I know I didn't understand was I didn't get that people can change or things could stay the same. And again, this is why it's a spectrum kind of mindset. You have to understand that high conflict can be a situation of just a divorce and finances being talked about, or it can be a lifelong journey that you're going to be in high conflict forever. All right. So let's cover a couple things. And again, this is going to be free and available on my website here soon. So I just want to kind of test it out with you guys and see what you think. Some red flags in your relationship with your ex. My ex consistently refuses to communicate and follow the agreement. Now, I know for a majority of the people that are in my inbox and in my DMs, that is one of the biggest complaints is people saying, how do I get this person to follow? How do I get my person to follow the plan? Because what works for them, they won't reciprocate and do it back for me. Okay. How about every interaction with my ex feels like a battle or an escalated into an argument? Do you ever feel like everything you bring up turns into something? I've told this story many, many times. So I'm going to tell it again because it's just too like brutally like perfect for what high conflict is. I remember texting my ex-husband. I mean, and this is T9 texting, so that tells you how old my divorce is. But I remember telling him that my son had a loose tooth. Something as simple as, hey, the tooth fairy may have to be visiting here soon. Keep a heads up. Our child has a loose tooth. That was turned into a mega argument about how stupid I was and how much of a bad mom I was that I didn't know the tooth had been loose for a couple days prior to that. So something as simple as me just saying, "Hey, heads up, make sure you have cash available." It was turned into how I'm just a shit mom because I didn't understand that the tooth had been loose. My ex refuses or uses our kids to pass messages. If this happens, you are high conflict. Thank you, April. So good to have you here. If your ex is using kids, and this starts subtle, I'm just going to tell you, if you're early in the divorce, this will start subtle. It will say like, "Hey, let your mom know. Hey, let your mom know. Hey, let your dad know." Doesn't matter. High conflict can be, husband or wife. It'll start subtly, and then it'll be, "Hey, tell your mom we're going on vacation. Hey, tell your mom that I need to switch Thursday for Friday. Hey, tell your mom she needs to cut a check for that." And the kid is sitting there like, "Well, what? You have a phone? Can't you call? Can't you text?" But they don't say that to that high conflict parent. And this child feels obligated to be the middleman. All right. So you might be high conflict if your ex undermines your parenting decisions in front of the children. This one is, especially at public events, shared spaces like extracurriculars and things like that, where you're maybe telling your child, "Hey, stop going up and down the bleachers, sit down." And then they say, "Oh, no, go ahead. Like, I'm watching them. It's no big deal." Something as small as that to prove that they're the nice parent, to prove that they're okay with it, to prove that, yes, it's okay. Your child comes up after a game and says, "Hey, I want to spend the night over at this other parent's house." And that parent says, "Yeah, let him spend the night." And you're like, "No, we need to stick to the parenting plan, and tonight is my night." "Oh, come on, just let him come over." And they start undermining you right in front of the child and making you have to be the bad guy. If this is happening to you, you might be in a high conflict situation. There's a frequent association with threats and power struggles in your co-parenting journey. Okay. Somebody that always threatens you. I'm going to take you back to court. You can't do that. You're doing this. It's your fault. They come with a tone every time they speak to you. So these are just red flags between you and your ex. Let's get into some red flags between your ex's behavior towards your children. Okay. And if you guys are liking this and this is relative, you're like, holy shit, you're speaking my language, you're speaking my tone. Then I want you to make sure that you're hitting the link in the bio and that you guys are joining me on my workshop on January 7th, because on January 7th, I came out with a new parenting plan workshop and it's phenomenal. Okay. It's phenomenal. We're going to cover everything about kids and parenting plans. So make sure you tag on up to that. So red flags with your ex's behavior towards your kids. All right. Your ex makes negative comments about you in front of your children. 16 years. 16 years. Okay. My kids dealt with that, of listening to the banter about how much of a piece of shit I was, how bad I was, what a bit, bad mom I was, what a bad person I was, all the things. Okay. So make sure if this is happening to you, don't be me and deny the fact that you're high conflict. Like, it only takes one of you to make you into a high conflict situation. All right. And I think a lot of us need to own up to the fact that we don't have a good co-parenting journey, that we have a shitty co-parenting journey because one party and only one party is using their time to talk mad shit about you. And this can be subtle stuff like, oh, wow, your mom's gained a few pounds, to your mom's a drunk, your mom's a piece of shit, your mom shouldn't do that. All right. So the workshop on next Tuesday, coming up on Tuesday, is 2 hours of record. I'm going to record it, give it to you on email. It's all recorded and it's for you to learn that if this is already like these things right here are coming at you going, holy shit, you are going to be in a lifelong journey, okay, of co-parenting with this person. And I need you to be protected. And with that is a parenting plan. And that's what I teach inside that workshop. So make sure you join that. Kids seem anxious, withdrawn, or stressed when they're spending time with your ex, maybe before they go or when they come back. You have to understand that these people put their energy into your children, and your children showcase it through their anxiety, through their withdrawal, through their stress. Okay. Your ex puts the kids in the middle of all adult conversations. Hey, did you know we're going to court next week? Hey, did you know the judge was on my side? Hey, did you know? Thank you so much. Did you know this? Did you know that? Your kids express confusion about household rules and parental expectations. Sometimes my kids, I would have to say, like, whoa, 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 calm down. Look where your feet are. And they would look down and, you're in my house. It's okay. Like when they would drop something or something would break or something would do that, they would get so like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, mom. I'm so sorry. I'm such a bad kid. And I'm like, chill out. Look where your feet are. You're okay. Like, it's okay. We can be loud here. We can drop things. We can not have to pick everything up. Like, it's okay. So the difference in households makes you high conflict. My household had discipline, structure, and consistency and love, but his household had a very rigid, cold feeling. And they couldn't feel like they could fail or fuck up or make a mistake or leave something out of place. So there was this big, like, I'm so sorry all the time at my house, apologizing for rules from his house. Okay. That kind of makes you high conflict. All right. My ex fails to meet our children's emotional and physical needs. They're not hitting the love language. This is a huge red flag that you are going to be high conflict. When your ex is spending the time to hurt your children with negative talk and babble and all this other bullshit, they're not using the time to actually get into what your child needs, which is validation, which is physical touch, words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service. Your child gift giving, your child needs these things. But when you have a high conflict parent involved with your child are going to feel very withdrawn and not given all the things that they need to be a loved child. Okay. So we got to make sure that we are doing our part with that. Okay. Next part, red flags in children's behavior. Your children are suddenly changed in behavior. They're angry, they're sad, they're withdrawn. These are all signs that something is going on of high conflict at the other house. Your child refuses to visit the other parent or complains about feeling unsafe or uncomfortable. If your child is taking it to that level, I can guarantee you are in a high conflict situation. Your child is dealing with things that just going to tell you, you have no idea how extreme it is. You have no idea how bad it really is. Your gut is telling you something's not good, but I'm going to tell you, as somebody that had children that were the ages of 1 and 3 and now are 20 and 18, they will talk about it all the time. Okay. They will talk about it and say, Mom, you had no idea. I wish we could have told you this was happening. And they're still unfolding things as they get older. Okay. Children feel responsible for mediating. And this was my daughter, the people pleaser. This was her to a T. She would always justify, stick up, be the first to defend. Oh, you don't understand, mom. You don't understand. He has to do that because this, and this. Okay. First off, why do you know that? Secondly, why are you playing his lawyer? Why are you defending him? It could be something as simple as like, hey, are you coming to the game? Are you going to be there? And then all of a sudden she's defending why he's not going to be there before he can even speak. Okay. So if your kids are doing some of these things, you are most likely in a high conflict situation. All right. Let's talk about what we can do. Okay. What can we do with that? All right. How can we make sure that if we are in a high conflict situation, we protect ourselves as best as possible? First and foremost, we got to hire the right kind of attorney. We have to hire an attorney that knows and understands that we are dealing with somebody that is emotionally and mentally abusing our children through adult warfare of being emotionally unintelligent and oversharing and telling our children way too much. We have to have an attorney that understands that. Now, what can we do about it? Not a whole lot in the family court system. Not a whole lot. We're not really allowed to really get after it and prove the mental and emotional abuse in court. We're not there yet. Family courts are not there yet. Okay. So what can we do? I've told you that you can't really do anything in court. My lawyer can't go over there and say, hey, sir, hey, ma'am, please stop being an asshole, be a better parent, and do the famous line of do what's best for kids. Nobody's going to do that bullshit, right? I had judges tell my ex all that all the time. Stop doing that. Stop oversharing. Stop telling your children. Stop. It never stopped for 16 years. So when it comes to what can you do, you can get a really good parenting plan to make sure that it is crystal fucking clear what your job is and what their jobs are. Where does your accountability start and stop? Where does their accountability start and stop? And why do you need this? Because first and foremost, a good parenting plan is going to be your backbone. So when this high conflict parent swoops in and says something like, hey, I want to switch, or hey, I want to do this, or hey, this is happening, or hey, you need to, hey, you have to. No, I don't. Because I'm going to go to my parenting plan and I'm only doing what I'm obligated to do. So your parenting plan becomes your backbone. The other thing that's going to happen is it's easy to tell who is right and who is wrong. Right now, through this last holiday period that we just had from Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, you wouldn't believe how many clients we had reach out to us that said, I can't understand my parenting plan. I don't know what it means. I don't know how to read it. I don't know. He thinks it means this, and I think it means this. I'm telling you what, I think these attorneys do you guys a disservice by writing these shitty parenting plans in such a way that it's not easy to understand. We're talking about time. It should be written date and time on February, this day to this day is your time. So for example, let's just do Thanksgiving. For Thanksgiving, it should be crystal fucking clear. But instead, a lot of attorneys will say parties will split the holiday. But what the fuck does that mean? Split the holiday. Are we talking about just Thanksgiving? Are we talking about all of fall break? What are we really talking about? The kids get out of school on Wednesday at 2:00. Are we starting it then? They don't go back till Tuesday. What are we splitting? See, now my ex would think we just split Thursday and we keep the schedule the same. I would think we would split all of fall break because that's the whole holiday. So right from that get-go, we already have a difference of opinion when you're dealing with two people that don't think the same. And my ex-husband and I, as great as he can be on some aspects, he was really good at certain things and I was really good at certain things, but we were really both shitty at communicating well. We did not agree on a lot. And I will tell you, I played just as much of a factor as he did because I always went from it from the logical standpoint of what's best for kids. And he went from the standpoint of what was best for him in his situation and how he could fuck me over. And I never gave and he never gave. And therefore we had conflict. And so I didn't understand what I was dealing with till it was way too late. I didn't understand high conflict. I didn't know what narcissism was. I didn't understand that this was never going to change. I lived in a world of I will do what's best for kids, which means I get walked all over, taken advantage of. My children watch it. They become people pleasers as well. And then we're all kissing a man's ass who is going to constantly treat us like shit. I didn't learn till later in life that I should have held boundaries early. I should have gotten a better parenting plan early. I should have went after contempt when I had opportunities to go after contempt. I should have trained the puppy not to piss on my carpet earlier than what I did. Instead, I let the dog piss and shit wherever they wanted. And then later when it was an adult dog, I said, no, you need to go outside. That doesn't work. We have to teach boundaries. And that was an analogy, by the way. You have to teach people analogies early on. So on Tuesday, what am I going to do? On Tuesday, I am going to run you through 2 hours. And I say 2 hours, it's probably going to be closer to three because I used to teach a 4 hour workshop and I'm trying to change it and make it into a 2 hour workshop. So I'm just going to tell you, since it's my first one on January 7th, it's probably going to be close to 3 hours. It's all going to be recorded. It's at 4 o'clock Central. Do your time zones. If you need to miss it or duck out, you're going to get the whole fucking thing recorded and sent to you on email. So it'll be sent to you as soon as I can upload it and it'll come right to your inbox. You're also going to get a checklist of the things that I just covered. You're also going to get helpful hints to send to your attorney and how to find a better attorney. And you're also going to get that replay, okay, and a checklist of everything that you need to include inside of a really good parenting plan. So my specialty is parenting plans. You know, my parenting plan, like I said, was absolutely horrible. And I write customized parenting plans depending on your location, the visitation schedule you want, who gets decision making, all these things we're going to discuss. And here's where people make the mistake. They listen, they come to the workshop, and then they don't give it to their attorney. They don't take that information and stand up for themselves. And I think a lot of people have what I did. You get intimidated by your attorney. You know, your attorney is really expensive. You know, your attorney is the, expert in the field. And I'm not dismissing any attorneys. I do think they're experts in the field, but so am I. And what makes me an expert? Number one, I'm certified and trained in divorce. I'm a divorce mediator. Two, I lived this life for 18 years of high conflict and having a shitty parenting plan and being to court over 300 times, spending over $100,000 in divorce proceedings back in the early 2000s when shit was actually cheaper. So I can't even imagine the amounts of money that some of you are paying right now. I have a lot of hindsight in not only my case, but all of the clients that I've been helping for the past decade on reading. I've probably read over at least 5,000 shitty parenting plans and tried to fix them. And now that I was fixing all of these shitty parenting plans, I'm like, well, why don't I just write one? And so now I have customized templates that I use based on your location, again, your visitation schedule, all these different things. It's like this huge library that I have. And then we go in and we handpick based on what you tell us what's perfect for you. But what are you going to learn inside of the workshop? First off, you're going to understand high conflict a lot better, that it's not going away. You're going to figure out how to help your attorney, get them on board with the high conflict, get them to understand that things with high conflict are not going to go away and they need to protect you better. You're also going to learn boundaries to deal with your ex and making sure that they understand that you are not going to let them piss on the carpet anymore, that they have to go outside. You're going to divorce proof your kids. And that's why I call it the divorce proof workshop. So in 5 days from now, you are going to learn how to make sure your kids are mentally and emotionally okay. And where does that start? Very simple, with you. You have to make sure your shit is together. And I think a lot of us do this wrong. We make sure that our kids are okay. Well, Sam, I got to make sure my kids have food and my kids sleep good and my kids have clothes and my kids, have all their love languages met and my kids are getting emotionally fed and all these things. And we don't do it to ourselves. But who are our kids mirroring? Who are our kids watching? Who are our kids implementing and following? Us. So when our kids see us broken and tethered and over on the side and browbeat and over here people pleasing and letting ourselves be mistreated and abused by somebody else, what are our kids going to do? Follow suit. And so we have to get our shit right first so that we can teach our kids how to do that. Okay. So you're going to learn that inside the workshop. I'm telling you, this is the first time I've ever done this workshop. And then we're going to talk about parenting plans. And then I'm going to talk about self-care. All right. So we're going to hit a lot of things. So do I think it's going to be 2 hours? No, I think it's going to go over 2 hours. So do I want you to jump in there now? Yes. You can go to theuglytruthmom.com and find that workshop. You can hit the link in the bio right here and go ahead. And for all of you that are watching over here on the Facebook groups, I am definitely linking it right now so that you guys can take advantage of that and get inside of there. So if anybody has any questions about the workshop, I will answer those right now. Other than that, I'm going to duck out of here. I'll stay over here on TikTok. So if you want to jump on over on TikTok, you're more than welcome to do so. I would love for you guys to come on Tuesday and hang out with me and get to know divorce better, get to know all the stages of divorce. That's when I want to be the first things that I cover is all the stages, because I think whenever I started my divorce and a lot of my clients, they're trying to problem solve all of these problems on day one of the divorce. And it's like, no, we have to fill out paperwork first. We have to do discovery, interrogatories, and we're going to go maybe to mediation, and we're going to do all of these things. Okay. So here's some things that I offer for those of you that keep asking. I do consultations. They're super pricey. They're super expensive. If you want to work with me one-on-one, consultation is where to go. If you want some group coaching where we hang out with a whole bunch of other moms, we have an app now inside of school called The Next Chapter. You're more than welcome to download that. There's 2 coaching calls a month where you're able to jump on and ask Q&A. If you want to come to the workshop, I usually do a Q&A at the very end. So again, on Tuesday, you'll have the opportunity to possibly ask some questions. And then I have parenting plans. So again, the workshop is where I love for everyone to start. The workshop is affordable. It's only $97 for 2, probably 3 hours worth of content plus a bunch of PDFs. And then you can decide whether you want me to build your parenting plan, which is going to run you about $2,000. And you can, again, payment plans. You can book a consult, or you can get inside of TNC, which is only $97 a month, but you can buy 6 months, get 6 months free. So there's tons of opportunities to get guidance, coaching. I'll probably be coming on live the next couple days to, again, push you guys into that workshop and make sure you have that opportunity. I only do it once a month. So once you miss January's, you have to wait till February's. And will I tweak it? Yeah, I'm going to figure out if I like the way I ran it on in January, and then I'm going to tweak it and change it up a little bit in February. So again, I really think jumping in there in January is a very smart decision, because if I know anything about myself, I overshare way too much the first time and then go, oh shit, I need to dial that back a little bit. So I know that for those of you that know me and know that I overshare and talk a lot, you will be jumping in on that January workshop. Absolutely. So the app, yes, the app that we run for TNC is for moms only right now. Dads, get on the lookout in the springtime. But right now, if you download the school app, SKOOL, and look for The Next Chapter, you will find it. But you can hit the link right here. Actually, I'll put the link for the actual app inside of this conversation over here on Facebook. Any of those that are following on TikTok, you can go to the link in the bio and you can absolutely get the link for The Next Chapter app, which is, I mean, to say that we have an app is just crazy to me, but it's so organized. There's probably over 100 hours worth of trainings inside of the app, and it's absolutely organized. It's so good, and it's where a lot of the moms just hang out. So, and to get really good advice. So both of those links are over here on the Facebook. You guys have a great January 2nd. I'll be back January 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th before we jump into that workshop on January 7th. So you keep seeing me, and I'll talk about something new each time. So make sure you're following and have those notifications on.